right, here we go. Wrestling with the Business, episode 76. The varsity athlete, Jeremy. All business, Dan. Matt is out on vacation this week, so we are running the ship. And before we get going, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to all of our content during the week right here on WWB, Wrestling with the Business. A lot to go over today. We're going to talk all the current storylines going on in WWE regarding WrestleMania coming up in what, 3 weeks now? 10 days?
10 days from today. 2 weeks from when this comes out.
10 days.
Or
so
one week.
A lot less than 3 weeks. So we're getting down there very, very quickly. WrestleMania, as we all know, a couple weeks later than normally. Normally it's that first weekend in April. We're kind of in the middle of April now.
Easter.
Easter weekend. I think it'll be good. Good for business in Las Vegas. We'll see how good the tickets are going.
Yeah.
It may not be good for business in Las Vegas, but for people watching at home, I think Easter weekend's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great time to be
night.
home.
Good. So on Easter Eve, you get to get the kiddos all in bed and get down in the basement and watch the main event at WrestleMania.
I mean, I can't think of a better way to spend my Easter with a big bag of candy and WrestleMania on the screen.
All right, let's dive right in. Current storylines in the WWE road to WrestleMania. Let's start out with Kevin Owens. I don't know where we're going to go here.
You mean the not storyline?
So Kevin Owens comes out on SmackDown with general manager, whatever his goofy name is, but he's out there standing there like he's important. And Kevin Owens comes out and
they're doing the signings, right?
Yeah.
That's the idea.
No, not even that.
Oh, sorry, that was Raw.
Yeah,
they were doing the signings.
What's his name? Why can't I think of his name?
Which one? I don't know which one is Raw.
I know all the authority figures. I can't think of this guy's name.
Which one is Raw and which one is SmackDown?
I don't know. Whatever.
Well,
let's call him. I have no idea. I can't even think of a funny name. But he comes out. He starts explaining about how wrestling is serious and the kids shouldn't try it at home. Blah blah blah. And basically announced that it's never good to be in this position. To have to announce this type of news. And then out comes Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens talks about how he's had an injury in his neck. Nick Aldis. Good old Nicky boy sitting there breaking it down about the risk of wrestling and introduces Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens comes down, talks about how he's had a neck injury since January. They didn't really know what was going on, but now they do. And unfortunately, he has deemed himself unable to perform at WrestleMania 41. And,
it's heel work. It's good heel work.
He says his goodbyes and walks out the ring. Randy Orton comes down. They look at each other, and then Randy Orton's in the ring. He gives the RKO to Nick Aldis, and that was the end of the segment. So, but let's break down the segment for a minute. Right now, we have this storytelling with Kevin Owens, where he goes out and beyond being a heel. You know what I mean? Like, Kevin Owens is a heel, right? We all know he's a heel, but he's exceeding the limits of being a heel. And he's taken it to the extremes with all the people that he's fought before. He took Randy Orton out of action for a while. He went after Cody Rhodes. Was it CM Punk? Who did he fight in the middle of that?
Yeah, I mean they've been angling him lately with his match with Sami Zayn, with his match with Cody Rhodes. They've been angling him as like this extremist. He gets folded over on the ladder with Cody Rhodes,
and he has no boundaries
over on himself. He's got no bound. He's a loose cannon, screaming all the time.
So for this to be a new low and coming out and giving a I'm injured speech that everyone hates to hear in the professional wrestling world as a fan, to drop to this low and then have him come out and like attack Randy Orton next week, I see it happening. I'm like 50-50 on this is either kayfabe or this is actual like a real. I'm really having a hard time grasping if this is a real story or not.
I thought I had a good idea of what was going to happen until Orton RKO'd Aldis. And then I'm like, well, okay, so I could see him walking away and then doing something to piss off Aldis enough to be like, nope, medical says you're cleared. I don't care if you say you're not cleared. You're under contract with me. You're going to wrestle Orton, right? That would get way over with the crowd. They'd love to see it. He could act really upset about it. But then Orton comes out and RKO's Aldis. Like, Aldis is not going to wrestle again. Right. So what's the angle here? Like, is Orton just going to be on a tear and they're going to try and, like, try to like hamstring try to bootstrap some kind of plot line with somebody else to step in. I mean, it's going to have to be some really big shoes, and I can't think of anybody off the top of my head unless they're going to bring somebody back or something, but I can't even think of anybody that they'd want to bring back. So this looks like a dead end to me. I mean, they might be able to throw something together, but I don't know if they know where they're taking this right now. I'm not sure.
I mean, reading online, there's a lot of people who are saying this is like legit.
I mean, he's certainly done enough to himself over the last 6 months.
WWE didn't want this information coming out, and it was something that he couldn't tell his side of the story for a long time. And I mean, even like Carl Anderson did a show or came out and they hope that they don't release Kevin Owens because of the injury. Like, so I think we're kind of all over the place on like where this is. I mean, I'm kind of like 50-50 right now that this is could be a storyline, and it could also be.
I mean, if he doesn't wrestle at WrestleMania, I don't know. I mean, what you've essentially taken yourself and the Viper Randy Orton, the apex predator of WWE, out. I mean, this is Randy Orton's return. Like, for him not to be able to have a match at WrestleMania 41 in front of everybody how many WrestleManias does Randy Orton have left too? He's getting up there. He's about John Cena's age. He's getting up there. Mid-40s, late 40s. Like, how many WrestleManias does he have in him left? Right. So, and then how do you shoehorn anything? Okay, like, do you wrestle at WrestleMania just to say you wrestled at WrestleMania? Like, do you end up having this garbage match that you throw together, mid-card, whatever, night one, just to say you did and make your paycheck? I guess so. I don't know. This one seems like a real dead end to me. I have no idea where they're going with it. It's very intentional that he went out there and RKO'd Nick Aldis. I just have no idea where they're going with it.
Well, that's what makes me think that Kevin Owens, this whole Kevin Owens storyline might be for him to go out and RKO Nick Aldis. What for? For me, if this was a very, very serious situation with Kevin Owens in a very, very serious moment, then why did you have Randy Orton come out at all?
Yeah,
I mean, why did we have Randy Orton come out and RKO Nick Aldis?
I don't get it.
I don't understand that. Like, are they trying to keep up with the Apex Predator character? Because they're saying now he's now like back to his old ways.
Unless Nick Aldis is going to wrestle, which doesn't make any sense. Like it's impossible unless he does some kind of Edge like comeback where out of nowhere, like he's been training underground for 6 months or something. Like I just don't know how you pull that kind of thing off.
So I think right now that storyline is kind of put on hold. We don't really know where that's going to go.
Yeah, and they got to put it together quick. They got a week to put something together for Randy Orton because right now the Viper's all revved up and has no place to go. So
let's walk into another segment that happened. Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton.
I don't know. There.
So SmackDown, and I'm watching this. And I was actually watching it live. I just happened to click on it when I was watching it. And I have no idea what the hell I was watching. And I said to myself, this is probably now at this point, I had no idea about any of the stuff that's going to come out in the next couple of days about this segment and what actually happened. I'm saying this is one of the worst segments I have ever seen.
I saw the segment, but where was it in the show?
I think the middle, because I tuned in right when it was on, and it was like very like I'm watching it in Charlotte Flair. Obviously, the crowd is like very vocal against Charlotte Flair, booing her the minute that she talked, and I really think she got overwhelmed with it. I don't think she was expecting it. I can't say that I've seen her promos in the weeks before where they've been booing her, maybe, but they were literally booing her anytime she got on the mic to talk. Talk, boo.
Go away, Heat.
It was very like, She
hasn't done anything to earn that kind of booze. It's go away, Heat.
And I've been very, very critical on this storyline. And on this show last couple weeks, I'm a big Paul guy. Big, what he's doing for wrestling is great. Didn't agree with Charlotte Flair winning.
Yeah.
Coming back and just automatically winning. Didn't agree with that. We've seen it before. Doesn't need to happen again.
She doesn't need it.
And the fans are going to revolt against it, what they're doing. And, she was supposed to be going into this, I believe, as the face. And now is obviously...
Yeah, Stratton's kind of a heel.
Now kind of had to turn to a heel because it got so bad. It got so much bad publicity. And the segment just was so bad. And then I'm watching it. And you could tell Charlotte Flair is getting overwhelmed. Like, she's stuttering her words. She's kind of like, what she's saying doesn't even make any sense. And the rhythm of the promo's off. And then, like, they come back with these cheap shots at the end. And how, I think, and I don't count me word for word here, Stratton comes back and goes, you're gonna be single the rest of your life. What are you, 0-3?
0-3 on marriages.
And then, Flair comes back with, what's his face?
Why is Kaiser in my DMs?
Kaiser's in my DMs. And the minute Stratton said that about the 0-3 divorce, she immediately got out of the ring. Like, immediately got out of the ring. And, like, Charlotte kind of charged, or I said to myself, boy, that looked kind of like, now over the last couple of days, we found out that they all went off script, and there's some heat on it backstage, and the WWE officials are hoping to move on from this, but Charlotte Flair obviously wasn't happy with the whole divorce comment. And that apparently Flair kind of started it. I don't know what comment Flair said to start it.
Yeah, it goes back a little ways.
But like, it sounds like Flair kind of went off the deep end to start this whole off the script promo. But I didn't find it all that entertaining watching it, and I guess maybe now going back and getting all the scoop after, it's a little
feel a little cringy.
So what do you? I mean, so they obviously don't like each other. So where are we going now? I mean,
this is not building any heat for me at all. I'm not getting any kind of anticipation at all. Charlotte is getting go-away heat, in my opinion. I think that what she's getting is go-away heat, and I think they're trying to angle it the same way. They're trying to cope the same way Chris Jericho copes. When he's like, oh, yeah, this is what I intend, when everybody's screaming time to retire in the crowd. And I got to tell you, watching her fall apart the way that she did, that is not the way that you would expect a seasoned veteran like Charlotte Flair to respond. I mean, that is either Daniel Day-Lewis level acting, or it's her literally, like, kind of coming apart a little bit. I don't think that she expected to have the kind of reception that she has received since returning at the Royal Rumble.
No,
I don't
disaster.
think this, and for some reason, and I can't figure it out why, I mean, Hogan and Rock were able to do it at, WrestleMania 20, when all of a sudden they flipped, or was it 18, when they just flipped and, heel became face and face became heel in real time in the middle of the match. Like, that's a level of sophistication that you rarely see, but these guys are this is happening in real time over the span of multiple weeks. It shouldn't be a hard or difficult decision to make. Right. And yet, for some reason, it doesn't seem like Charlotte is really leaning into it the way that she normally is. I don't know if she's just been coddled by the script, coddled by having a team of writers that's writing for her. She hasn't had to write for herself, probably, I don't know, in a really long time. Maybe her entire career, she hasn't had to do any writing for herself. So, I can't help but think that she's kind of up shit creek without a paddle. And
yeah, this has train wreck written all over
and it's then the worst part is all of it would be worth it if it was at least building heat. But there's no heat. It's just like, yeah, Charlotte, go away. Nobody cares.
I mean, you can't have her win the title now. Like, what's going to happen with Charlotte? I mean, unless they're going to make her like somehow. Here's what they got to do. Somehow they got to take Charlotte Flair and turn her to what they did with The Rock. Rock came back, remember, a year ago, took the spot from Cody Rhodes, got all the heat from it. So they actually made him a heel, and that actually worked out good. What was best for business. Now that it's happening the same way with Charlotte Flair, they got to turn her into like a legitimate, serious heel now if she's going to walk out of there with a belt. Yeah. And she's got to do some shit that's just like people want to actually legit boo the shit out of her.
Yeah, and they seem to be staying away from those kind of love triangle storylines. Like in the past, they would kind of lean into that, like, all right, let's have Kaiser appear, behind Charlotte a couple of times or something, just to kind of like work. So this doesn't feel like a work. This feels like a shoot. Because they're not really leaning into it the way that they would in the past. And let me tell you something. I mean, if these girls are going to stand up there 2 weeks before the biggest show of the year, perhaps the biggest WrestleMania ever, and they're going to go off script, and they're going to get this personal, and there's going to be zero payoff as a result of it, I mean, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign.
All right, so that's the two current train wrecks going on with the storylines. Let's talk about the third train wreck that I think redeemed themselves a little bit, but they're still borderline. Gunther and Jey Uso. Okay, we've been questioning this match from the beginning. But of all the talent that they have, Jey Uso is the one battling for the World Heavyweight title. It's clearly not going to be a main event, which is probably a downgrade for Gunther, which he's been on a downgrade, in my opinion, for a while. He's overused. People are tired of it. But last week on Raw, Gunther beat the living shit out of Jey Uso. Great story. Or Jimmy Uso, I'm sorry. Okay, he tied up Jey. Jey couldn't help him. He was tied up to the turnbuckle, and Gunther just beat the living shit out of Jimmy. Like, bleeding in the ring, and like, I feel like that brought some legitimacy to the battle, some heat to the storyline, some momentum for that match going into WrestleMania. Jey Uso, obviously, they had their run in on SmackDown. They saw each other. Jey has some strong words, obviously, for Gunther. And Gunther showed some concern when Jey made the comments. I mean, where do you think we're going here? Are they adding some appropriate heat and some appropriate language into this storyline to actually give it some legitimate hype for the World Heavyweight belt?
My thought is that this is a failed storyline, that Triple H gave Jey Uso a chance. He let him win the Rumble. They gave him 3 months to build a storyline with Gunther. Yeet merchandise sold a little bit. Yeah, people shake their phones in the crowd. Yeah, he got a little bit of a bump at first, a little bit, but it's not sticking. The story isn't interesting. He doesn't look like a physical challenge to Gunther. I mean, nobody looking at those two in a street fight would ever pick Jey Uso over Gunther. And
I wouldn't pick Jey Uso over anyone, quite frankly.
And they were, I mean, they literally handed him, right, main event Jey Uso. They like handed him that nickname before any of this even started. So it's like, I think that Triple H, I think that this was a litmus test to see if Jey could go big time. He can't. He's failed it miserably. They can't let him win. And now they're trying to force the crowd behind him. They're trying to make Gunther, they're trying to do the Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker thing. They're trying to make Gunther so evil that you can't help but cheer for Jey. And I think it's too little too late. If you had a lot more of this, if you'd been doing this since February, maybe you might be able to build a little heat behind the match. And it's gotten so bad that now my assumption going into WrestleMania, at least after the Royal Rumble, was that this was going to be the night one main event, that the World Heavyweight Championship was going to be on the line night one, and now they've kicked them out. They're essentially going to be, I don't know, mid-card, maybe the opening match of night two.
There'll be an opener, I think.
Opener for night two, maybe, or something like that. Typically, opener night one, usually it's one of either the U.S. or the IC title goes on the line, but they've been kicked down to curtain jerk or mid-card status, and I think it's just a sign that this isn't working. Gunther is, I think you're right. I think there's something to Gunther not really, I can't really think of anyone else that's worthy of holding the title that isn't busy doing something else right now that really doesn't need the title. I can't think of anybody else that would be ready to hold that championship.
The World Heavyweight?
Yeah, the one that Gunther's. I mean, like Seth Rollins, obviously, and Roman Reigns, but they're in the middle of their own thing, off to the side here.
So looking at the two nights, it looks like right now for night one, the Tiffany Stratton Charlotte Flair match is on night one, and Gunther and Jey Uso night one, and the Roman Reigns, obviously CM Punk, Seth Rollins night one. Yeah. So it looks like they're scheduled, and I don't know if this is in order, but they are listed as the second match right now.
I mean, so that's night.
So they're mid card on night one.
So I think that this has been a failure. I think, unfortunately, Jey Uso has been a failure. He is not a main event contender. I think Gunther is the best that they can do right now, but he's not that great. And case in point, you've got this three-way BS with Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins that just kicked him out of the assumed main event spot for night one, and it doesn't bode well. So I'd say it's the least bad of the three bad storylines that's going on right now, because nobody's injured and they're still going to have it, and they're at least taking steps to try to add some heat to it, 2 weeks out from the biggest show of the year. But yeah, it's not it's a failed experiment. I think after WrestleMania, they need to do something with the draft or with Backlash or something. They need to mix something up.
Here's where Jey Uso is one of those wild cards where you just don't know. He has the fans reacting to him. I mean, he does. He's a fan favorite. And it's one of those, like, well, God, you know, the fans really are reacting well to him. They're interacting well. Like, you know, it's one of those, like, the only reason why Jey Uso's in that match right now is because of the interaction he's getting with the fans.
Yeah, because he sells T-shirts.
It's not because of his wrestling talent. It's not because of his character and development. It is because the fans are reacting to him. And that's why he's in that match.
He sells T-shirts.
And I agree. It's a failed experiment. We gave him a try. Not working out. And it's a borderline on that train wreck list. I'm aiming it's getting onto the train wreck. I mean, it's getting to where those 3 matches that we just went over have no current storyline to them whatsoever. Let's get into what was probably going to be the main event for night 1, which I also think is starting to get on that rocky waters where I don't really know where this is going, is the Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. With Paul Heyman in the mix. He owes a favor to everybody now. I don't know what's going to go on here. You know, obviously, you know, if I was booking this match, and I'd be interested to see what you say here. If I was booking this match needs a stipulation. This match needs a, what are we wrestling for? And I know it's already kind of been brought up, I think, a little bit on TV. I'm not 100% sure, but this match right now needs to set a number 1 contender. Whoever wrestles it, whoever wins this match, they need to label it as a number 1 contender for whatever match they want to put the new belt on. So if they want to keep Cody Rhodes as the champion, then don't make this for the number 1 contender for that belt. Make this a number 1 contender for Jey Uso. Okay? And they have 1 or 2 matches with Jey Uso.
You think Jay's going to win the belt?
I think he has to.
Okay.
What else are we doing this for?
I mean, you if Jey Uso's a failed experiment, then you don't give him the belt.
No. The whole thing's a failed experiment. Gunther is just completely dried out. He's had the belt for 3 years, 2 different belts over the course of 3 years. People are tired of him. It's the same gimmick. He hasn't changed. The people are tired. Gunther's been the most depreciating wrestler, in my opinion. That was way up here. Maybe call that Vince McMahon era.
Overexposure.
Yeah. And then now he's down. He has his stock values dropped. Jey Uso has to win the belt because it has to lock up with whatever storyline this was. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They just say, okay, we got to finish it, so we got to give it to him. Otherwise, everything we've been doing for a year for Jey Uso was a failure. Give it to him, failure or not, he won the belt, have it for 2 pay-per-views, and lose it to whoever the number 1 contender is. And then that number 1 contender will have 2 matches. Somehow they'll lose the first one, then there'll be a rematch, and they'll win. But Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, there's got to be a point to the match. When you sit and, you know, obviously as a wrestling fan, you go, well, as a wrestling fan, you sit here and go, what are we wrestling for right now? There's no real rivalry here. I mean, obviously Seth Rollins hates both of them. CM Punk, but where does CM Punk hate Roman Reigns? Where does Roman Reigns hate CM Punk? Where do all 3 of them fit into the middle? I don't understand. There's no objective. I mean, they're kind of hinting at a storyline, like they all hate each other, and that's great. But where's the objective here? It's gotta be a triple threat match to name a number 1 contender, because all of them. Let's be honest. Would you disagree with me that all 3 of those are better candidates than Jey Uso?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the point of the 3 of them wrestling? They got to be wrestling for an objective.
And they are, and I'll tell you what that objective is. They're going to come out at WrestleMania, and all 4 of them, including Paul Heyman, are going to stand in the ring, and they're each going to stand in their own corner. Okay? And the 3 of them, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins, are going to pull out a doggy treat, and they're going to say, "Come here, Paul. Come here, Paul. Paul, come here, Paul." Winner gets Paul Heyman. Winner gets the wise man. That's essentially the angle that they're taking right now. Because you've seen what they're doing with the whole, say no to him. I can't do that, my tribal chief. And CM Punk smiling in the bag. Paul, you owe me a favor, Mr. Heyman. You need to be in my corner. You're going to come out on my team. How does Seth Rollins work with that? Well, I think Seth Rollins has become a representation of the crowd, where he's just kind of sitting back with his arms crossed, smiling, eating popcorn, sort of enjoying it, knowing that knowing that he's kind of just in it for the fun. That's kind of his gimmick. He's kind of has this Joker angle gimmick to it where he's kind of just in it to have fun. He doesn't really know why he's there. He's kind of antic and crazy. That's why he comes out in those ridiculous outfits, right? What's his gimmick called again? I can't remember what the name. Seth Rollins, his gimmick.
They cut it.
They cut it, but what did they call it? He hasn't really dropped it.
Seth
freaking Rollins, but
they took it off the website. They got rid of it.
Yeah, I can't remember. They had a name for what he was though. Anyways, so
the Messiah.
It wasn't that, but it's that same kind of like, the Epiphany or something like that. It was, anyways. And so he's not really in the fight. He doesn't really have a dog in the fight with the whole Paul Heyman thing, but, he's in it. They have done something to build some heat in there. He's got the history with Roman Reigns and the Shield and that whole thing. Mm-hmm. So, but that's really what this has become about. This has become about a fight over who gets Paul Heyman. And keep in mind, and this goes back a little ways, Roman Reigns has said on multiple occasions, there is no tribal chief without the wise man. So if you separate the two of them together, this is essentially the death of the bloodline storyline. This essentially marks the end of the whole tribal chief angle, the whole bloodline angle. We're no longer going to be referring to Roman Reigns as the head of the table or the tribal chief or any of that stuff. And we're going to move on to something else. This marks the end of something. So I think Punk goes over. Maybe he becomes the sort of assumed number one contender because he wins. But we all know they're going to do a draft after this too, and who knows where everybody ends up at after that point.
There's a lot of storylines here, Jeremy, that don't have good endings to them. Because I'll tell you right now, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins can't afford another loss.
I think Punk goes over.
Punk goes over. Okay, that means he's beaten Seth Rollins all 3 times.
He's going to pin Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman's help.
Paul Heyman's going to screw someone over.
Yes. Paul Heyman's going to he's going to screw Roman Reigns over, which is going to end the bloodline. That's going to end it. There is no tribal chief without the wise man. He said it multiple times. So the wise man's going away, and then we're going to see the CM Punk Paul Heyman era where he gets angled for a World Heavyweight Championship.
I don't know. I agree with you that Paul Heyman's going to alternate the ending. I think he alters. I think he helps Roman Reigns and betrays CM Punk, and this sets up a Roman Reigns versus CM Punk
SummerSlam or something,
number one contenders match or something like that. And Seth Rollins.
But whoever wins this is the assumed number one contender, no matter what.
All right, so. Moving on from there, all these other ones, I don't care what any of these are.
No, there's only one other.
AJ Styles, Logan Paul, I don't care. LA Knight, Jake FI2, don't care.
There's only one more match to talk about.
I am a little intrigued with the Braun Breaker, Penta, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio.
It'll be a fun match to watch.
The Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Io Sky. It's just for the women's side, there's a lot of triple threats, a lot of fatal fours. Everyone is healthy besides Kevin Owens, so they got a big card. Okay, that leads us to the main event, night 2, Cody Rhodes, John Cena. Not much has happened this past week. I don't think they did anything on Raw. There wasn't anything on SmackDown. Were they on Raw?
We never got a clear understanding of why John Cena paired with The Rock.
You're not going to, I don't think.
We never got it. So that tells me, and I want to ask you as The Rock's boyfriend, is there interference at WrestleMania? Does The Rock come out and do something to F over Cody Rhodes again in the middle of the ring that causes John Cena to win the belt?
So right now, I'm looking because I didn't see it.
Well, and then while you're looking, let me share one other opinion that I have. To me, from a storytelling perspective, they have already teased John Cena's redemption arc. And it came...
He's winning the title.
It came when Cody Rhodes said, and I'm paraphrasing here, so bear with me, I love you, Cena, but you're an asshole. So they're already teasing the redemption arc. They're already saying, I look up to you. You're one of the greatest of all time. You're on my Mount Rushmore. you deserve to win it a 17th time, right? They're kind of whispering that.
Right.
But you're an asshole, so I'm fighting you because you're an asshole. The fact that there's no intensity, that Cody Rhodes continues to sort of amble down and scream, whoa. Like, you're supposed to hate this guy. This guy screwed you over. He stabbed you in the back. And you're not running out there and getting in his face, facing off with him and pushing him and shoving him. I mean, it took him how many months to give him one single crossroads?
Right. So I wanted to double check to make sure. So the last time they met was Raw last week. Nothing on SmackDown.
Yep. No, just Raw. It's been all Raw.
And nothing on Raw this week.
Yep.
So we kind of have a week. I'm at the point now where I don't think this match. I agree with you. The Rock element, which started this whole storyline, hasn't it all been explained, or hasn't it all been further
developed at all? He hasn't been around.
So my question now is, when does he show up? And I was debating last week, is it before WrestleMania 41 or is it actually at WrestleMania 41? When does The Rock show back up?
You know he's going to be at WrestleMania.
To implement himself back into this storyline. Yeah. I don't know the answer to that yet. I do think that, like The Rock heel turn, I think John Cena looked at this from behind the scenes as, hey, The Rock can do it in a acting environment as a celebrity, and people actually, let's be honest, we've talked about this before. When you are a celebrity of The Rock and John Cena status and they have a career outside of WWE, going on a heel turn could jeopardize their. The Rock didn't work that way. I mean, I think he kind of, Rock was on a decline for a month. He had a lot of bad things happen to him career-wise over the course. He came back to WWE because he needed that boost.
Yeah,
and now he's kind of built himself as this great, in my opinion, the final boss character. And I think John Cena said that, you know what? I like that road. I want to go down that road too. I want to do something I haven't done before. I want to be a heel. And I think it's gone over in the crowd fantastically. Opposite of Charlotte Flair. Okay, he has actually made himself where people are legitimately booing him because they think it's real heat. They've always wanted to boo him, and he's saying shit that really getting under their nerves. I think that he's going to walk out of there as a champ. I think they put enough legitimacy into the storyline to explain why he's going to win, explain that he can walk away and take the belt away for a while, and actually put a story behind it. Oh, we don't have a champion right now because our real champion packed his bags and left as a 17 and greatest of all time. Mm-hmm. I think they can make that a storyline for 6 months. I do. And this, I know they all want to keep seeing Cody Rhodes as their champion, but they actually have a storyline they can use now for 8 months. At some point, Cena gets
all the way to Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. At some point, somebody, and maybe it's Cody Rhodes, somebody gets John Cena to come back for whatever reason, and he comes back.
SummerSlam, Survivor Series,
because he's got he gets so much on John's nerves that he actually comes back. I mean, there's a great storyline here. It's, again, are we gonna bury the storyline by having Cody Rhodes win and now there's nothing? I think they're gonna make Cena win. The question is, does The Rock come back and not? And we have, so next week will be 7 days. They gotta be on Raw next week. They have to be.
Yeah, they're gonna
leading up. So the question is that the week The Rock comes back? Is The Rock going to put himself in front of the match or during the match? That's the question. Because I agree with you. That has not been explained, and I think it's a big element for something that hasn't been explained.
2 final thoughts on this. This is going to be the key week, not just for final matches and sort of trying to fold everything over into hospital corners and stitch everything together all nice, but because this week they're back in the United States. So we're no longer astroturfing excitement, and if the crowds are no longer singing everybody's theme music for 10 minutes after they come out, if they're no longer screaming, let's go Cena, Cena sucks, 100 times in a row, then I think we'll get a better barometer for the level of, the level of excitement that exists within the fan base greater, because I do not think that it was reflective of their trip over into Europe. Second and final comment. WrestleMania tickets. And talk about levels of excitement. So here we are, right? We're 10 days out from WrestleMania, and night 1 is at 47,000 tickets sold, and night 2 is at 49,000 tickets sold.
Out of how many?
Allegiant Stadium holds a max capacity for a show like this of roughly 60,000. So
I think you'll get a lot of last-minute people.
I mean, the prices have not really come down yet. It's still $200.
People are waiting.
Plus for the nosebleeds, it's still $8,500 to sit on the floor. One interesting benchmark to note, Allegiant Stadium, the same venue, hosted SummerSlam in 2021. And they sold 45,690 tickets. So WrestleMania has barely outsold SummerSlam 2021. Still COVID. I mean, that was the summer of 2021.
Two shows.
That was still. But what I'm saying is,
I think that makes a difference.
Can
people really afford both nights?
I mean, if you're gonna fly there, you're gonna go to both nights. Yeah. You're not gonna fly there.
That's a pretty big.
I mean, there's only a 2,000 ticket difference. People are going there to go to both shows. They're not going there to just go to one. I mean, that was a gambit that really paid off really well. Was to say, if you're going to come all the way to WrestleMania for one night, you're probably going to come for 2 nights. Let's double up on these ticket sales. So there's only about 2,000 tickets difference, but the fact that right now, currently, the stadium is set up for like 52,000 and something means that we could very well be watching a WrestleMania stream where there's 10,000 plus empty seats.
Yeah,
which is pretty possible. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. I mean, considering
I still have optimism.
They were 60,000 tickets last year.
I'm optimistic
for both
that they'll sell out. I think towards the end. You never really say. I mean, the last couple of years, they never say they're sold out. They just say we have 85,000, whatever.
I think what we're seeing is a correction, I guess, is my point.
Yeah.
Ticket prices and this dynamic ticket pricing screwed a lot of fans. Hosting it in Sin City in the springtime, Easter weekend, that's a bad omen. And then having all of these many of these storylines that aren't lining up, you can't AstroTurf your way to ticket sales.
Well, that could be the thing too. There's a lot of storylines that aren't adding up. Where guess what? If things are adding up, that's when the big power players get called.
And you're going to call The Rock,
the Undertaker, or The Rock.
I think if The Rock shows
up, Stone Cold.
If The Rock shows up at Raw this week, to me, that's nail in the coffin 100%. This is not meeting WWE expectations, and I don't have to wait for the earnings call, for the Q2 earnings call, to find out that things didn't go great for them. So.
All right, let us know what you think down below. 10 days out from WrestleMania 41, live in Las Vegas, 2 nights. Where are you on the card right now? Are you happy with it? Do you think it's meeting the standards of the wrestling and Triple H and how he put together, what's this now, his second WrestleMania or third?
I guess unofficially his second. Yeah, I mean, he's been head of creative for a while, but
and in the meantime, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Share our channel with all your friends. Make sure you comment down below. Let us know how we're doing and what your thoughts are. And until next week, this is WWB out.